Hey guys, welcome to the Regency Coins YouTube channel. We're going to be opening up this 1893 Morgan silver dollar roll today. At least I hope it's an 1893 Morgan dollar roll. You can see there's an one end here indeed says 1893, and then the other end as well, 1893. I bought this roll on eBay this week, or last week. It just came in yesterday, and I wanted to open it up on camera. This is the first YouTube video on this channel. And I thought, you know, what a better way to start it off than to open up this roll. Of course, when you buy rolls on eBay, there's a number of YouTube videos, that would advise against it. I bought this roll just thinking it was kind of on the cheaper end, with where silver prices are today. You know, even if there's nothing in this actual roll, other than circulated silver dollars and the two enders, I think I'll still do okay. I probably will lose a little bit of money, but I paid like $4,300 for the roll, and I figured, the upside potential is pretty crazy. Maybe there's a couple Carson City uncirculated coins or a couple better dates in here that can help pay off the roll. But just starting with the ends, we have an 1893. Now we can't quite tell what mint mark this is. Some guys are really good and can tell the mint mark just by looking at the obverse of the coin. I unfortunately am not on this date. Obviously, the 1893S is the super key in the series. A coin in AU like this appears to be would be worth about $100,000, I believe, somewhere in the very low six-figure range. And uncirculated examples are, of course, almost unheard of. There's just a handful at PCGS. So obviously, we're hoping that there's an 1893S. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. That would be pretty incredible. But really, any 1893 Morgan dollar, especially in a little bit nicer shape like these are, is going to be worth some money. An 1893 CC or an 1893 O would also be welcomed. My assumption, based on the fact that I bought this roll on eBay, and if you've watched some of the other YouTubers open rolls, you know that the eBay rolls, are typically manufactured and put together, and I would kind of expect this one to also be. So I'm not expecting there to be any super key dates in here. But anyways, let's start looking at the coin a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of a scrape on the obverse. My hope is that that's from sitting on someone's desk or from friction over time. Who knows what that's from? You can see that scrape right there. Definitely an AU coin, not uncirculated, though likely meant to look uncirculated to the buyer. And yeah, the other end, same story here. This one does, to me, look a little bit nicer. Let's see if we can get the lights to focus a little more. But again, just the same story, 1893. Also has a scrape on the front. Looks like maybe a little bit of a friction from something. Not quite sure, otherwise it could just be wear, but definitely an AU coin as well. And then we look at the wrapping. My first impression of the wrapping here, and I believe this is a red flag, I've seen some other YouTubers talk about it, is just how tight this roll is. Like, unbelievably tight. Like you can't get in here. It's clearly been manufactured, or it almost seems as though somebody has a process for really wetting this down and gluing it. It appears there may be some glue on the roll. I don't know why a bank would glue their rolls, so I don't believe it's a bank sealed roll. My hope is that maybe it's a collector who's looking to preserve some Morgans. But $20 Morgan roll. You can see the text there. I couldn't quite read what this says. You can see it's super worn. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. I don't know if we can look at under a loop if this is going to help or not, of what this text could be. I'm sure it's not super important. Maybe describing a bank, or otherwise just describing, silver dollars in the roll. But clearly it says $20 Morgan. And then again, it looks like $20, and then it says $20 on there. It looks like some sort of bank noted on the roll there. Of course, we don't know who put that on there for what purpose. But anyways, I'm sure you guys are just wanting to see what's in the roll. So let's actually open it up. I'm going to do this live. I'm going to hope that my audio is working. And yeah, let's see what's in it. So I'm going to try to do this with my fingers. You can see my fingernails are pretty grown out. So let's see if I can get into it. I'm not sure if I might be able to here. It's really tight. Like the roll has clearly been almost like a machine had rolled this down. Let's see. So it's coming loose here. Luckily I didn't cut my nails before this video. I thought about it. It's hurting my finger. But yeah, basically we're just hoping for any better dates in here. Another 93 in any mint mark would probably be pretty good in terms of getting my money back on this roll. Otherwise, I thought it would be a fun video. So here we are. You can see there's a little bit of toning around along the stars here, and the lettering kind of looks gold, as if maybe it was from the edge of the roll. Maybe the starting of toning. My hope is that that's from the coins being in this roll for a while. Of course, we have no way to prove that, but I did notice that originally. Fingers crossed. So I'm going to flip it upside down, I think, and then we're going to see if we can get the coins out of here, and then we'll just do them one by one. I don't know if they're going to sneak out. I don't really want to touch the end of the coin. All right, we might have to just rip the roll, but that's okay. So I'm going to rip the roll here. Again, very tight. Like, this is not like any sort of roll you would get at the store. You know, like you see those old like change rolls occasionally, like the really, like they have like the nickels, and they're like the blue ones. Maybe I'll put a picture up, but clearly this has been put together by somebody at some point in time. So my first impressions, based on the rims, looks like a mix. Like, they don't look all BU. Definitely a mix of, I would say mid. They look pretty full. The rims look pretty full. So we may have a mix of AU and BU. We'll see what we have here. Starting off with the 1893. Get this out of here. Okay, let's go coin by coin here. I'm going to try not to look at the coin behind, but and I do have flips here. I'm going to put anything better in. Yeah, let's get rolling here. So we have the face coin in 1893. 1893 Morgan. Again, we knew this coin was AU coming out of the roll. You know, they may call that damaged or possibly cleaned. I think it just looks like wear. Maybe it looks like from a counter or something right there on the cheek. But an AU coin for sure. We're going to flip it over and see what the mint mark is, hoping for an S or really anything. As expected, it is a 1893 Philadelphia. Of course, that's what we anticipated. Obviously, a 93S roll would be pretty crazy. Again, you can see some wear on the breast feathers. Definitely an AU coin, likely a lower AU. I'm going to put this in a flip because it is a better date. Okay, the next coin. Again, looks like a slider, AU slash, yeah, probably a high AU, low unk. An 1886. And that's definitely not a good sign right off the bat. to get a AU slider Morgan dollar after getting two 1893 enders. This is of course what any fraudster who's going to put a roll together is going to do. They're going to entice you with the end rolls, and then they're just going to stuff it with junk. So we probably don't even need a flip for that one. I'll just put that here, and we'll keep rolling. So the next coin in here, again, low slider coin, 1900 O or 1900 Philadelphia. Again, these are like borderline. These are I would call these AU. You might get these in like a slider deal, but nothing special here. This coin, again, looks like it was in a slider deal. An 1883 Morgan dollar, Philadelphia Mint. Nothing crazy there. I'm hoping that there's something decent in here. If these are all sliders, that's going to make the loss a little worse. But I didn't expect anything rare, but I'm hoping that there's more than just like, common date slider coins in here. Not looking like that's going to come to fruition based on the first few coins. But here we have again, a 1897 this time, really low end unk, probably a high AU coin. Nothing too crazy there. The next coin, we have an 1896. So there's a variety of dates. I don't think we've gotten a duplicate for date yet, but nothing rare. These are all very common coins. 1896 Morgan there. Here we have a 1900. So here's the first duplicate, 1900 Philadelphia. Interesting that they chose all Philadelphia coins to put this roll together. Maybe they're trying to fool you and say, hey, this roll, was not put together. It just happens that the two key dates were faced out. 1890 or 1893 were faced out. Unlikely. Now I did buy this roll from somebody who claimed on eBay that it was from their husband who passed away. I didn't want to call them on that and ask for any evidence of that, of course, out of respect, but it didn't look like they were the ones selling the roll or manufacturing the roll. It looks like they likely purchased the roll at some point, kept it intact, and I do believe the story of it being, from their late husband's estate, but it wasn't from one of the notorious sellers on eBay. However, there are sellers on eBay selling these put together rolls, so you want to make sure you're super careful or you're going to lose money. We definitely will lose money at this rate. Here's an 1896 Morgan, another like low end unk. These are all slider coins, so they can slide between AU and Mint State, usually like 60, 61, 62. Definitely nothing special about this one. Next up, we have another Philadelphia 1898. This coin is super shiny. Looks like somebody may have dipped it. I don't see hairlines for a cleaning, maybe a teeny bit, but doesn't really matter for a coin like this, to be honest with you. Going to be worth about the same, maybe a couple dollars less. But we have an 1889 Morgan dollar. Again, none of these are rare dates or anything. And higher grades, they're worth some money, like really high grades, like 66, 67, 68s, of course, but this is nowhere near that. Next, we have another 1889. Of course, more than just making my money back, I was hoping that this would make for a little more of an exciting YouTube video. They could have at least put some nice coins in here. These aren't, like, this isn't terrible, but this is clearly they bought from likely a wholesaler. who's just selling like low-grade uncirculated coins in a batch, and then they just filled it with those. But that's all right. Just know if you see these rolls online, report the listings. Do not buy the listings. Do not trust the sellers at face value unless there's a reason to do so. And make sure you factor in, a bottom or a floor and say if this roll turns out like this one's turning out right now, I'm okay with this loss. And that's basically what I did on this roll. I let the gambler in me run away a little bit, and I set the floor a little higher than I should have, but I thought what a good YouTube video to make, and here we are. Here is another 1889. This one does look like a decent uncirculated coin. Strikes a little weak, but again, doesn't really matter on value. With the way silver is climbing recently anyways, these are all kind of sitting around the same level. The premiums have shrunk on them, so there's not like a huge premium for any slider coins. 1885 Philadelphia, they could at least throw me like a CC or something. But of course, scammers not going to give you money when they don't have to. 1885p, if I was putting together a date set, I might have a little more fun with this. There seems to be a pretty wide variety of dates. Interestingly, they've all been Philadelphia, which I do not doubt was on purpose. But interesting to note that this coin looks, like maybe an AU coin. Super chattery, 1881p, a little bit more uncommon, but not really worth anything special. Here's an 1886 Morgan. We have 1889. They seem to like that one. This looks like a true uncirculated coin from the back. 1896. Again, front's really beat up. Nice slider. Here we have another Philadelphia. 1890. Worth more money in high grades, but nothing here. Nothing too special there. Interestingly, here's an O Mint coin. That would be the first non-Philadelphia coin, I believe. Maybe there was one earlier. I apologize if so, but I think they were all Philadelphia mints. Here's an O Mint. An 1880. Definitely a better date. In this grade, there's not a huge jump, but as this coin gets higher end, even like low to mid uncirculated grades, it jumps quite a bit. And then we have the last roll ender here. We're hoping there's an S on here, but it does not look like there is. Just a slider, sort of a high AU 1893 Morgan. So this is probably the only coin other than the other, obviously, roll ender that's worth some money. They are authentic, which was a concern of mine originally when I was like pricing this roll. They do appear totally authentic to me. I was hoping they'd be uncirculated, because even if these enders were uncirculated, like true uncirculated 62, 63s, I'd make my money back. But they're definitely AU. You can see the wear up on the high cheek there, and along the neckline. Interestingly, it's kind of like highlighted by the little bit of toning that seems to have formed over it. So you can really see where the high points are on this coin. And then you can clearly see that there's wear on the reverse, so this is an AU coin. And we're going to flip it over and show you the other one as well again. And here's the spoils. So I was hoping at the bare minimum to find, the interior of the roll to be fully uncirculated. I thought they could at least do me that justice, but You know, it is the way it is. Actually, this is not the 93. Hopefully we didn't lose that coin. No, I put it in a flip. Okay, it's over here. So here's the two 1893 Morgans. You know, these aren't bad coins. If I would have paid a little less for the roll, I'd probably be pretty happy because these are decent AU. This one looks like a lower end AU. This one's slightly higher. I would probably call this like a, let's see. I mean, the only thing that worries me about this coin is like that, the slide mark on the face. And you can see that on this one as well, right on the face there. This kind of looks like a, I would probably call this like a 55, AU 55. I would expect it to grade. Maybe that's being generous. I think it has AU 55. This one looks more like a AU 50. Definitely lower end coins. My guess is the dealer probably, or the person who put this roll together, and by put together I mean actually bought the coins, put them together, wrapped them up, did whatever they did to the wrapping. You can see how this like is clearly, it's like they got the roll wet at some point and then seemed to have glued it together, aged it artificially. Nothing suggests that this roll or the coins in it were original in any way. So this, in my opinion, was a scam roll, something you want to make sure you watch out for. I wanted to make this video, obviously, for the gambling and the hope that these coins would prove to be a little more fruitful, but also to show you guys how you need to be careful when buying coins online. This roll I probably lost. I probably lose about $1,500 from. And you know, I kind of saw it as like, let me take a shot, let me make a cool YouTube video. Maybe the YouTube video will do well enough to get some of you guys interested in the channel. But if you're just buying this roll for investment or for resale, you know, you're gonna get screwed, for lack of a better word. So make sure you're being careful buying anything online. Make sure you're avoiding sellers who have a lot of like search rolls, or like, hey, look at this roll has 2 key dates on the end. That's a red flag. Apparently, we also learned from this video that this sort of artificially aged, really tight end roll, or like the paper on the roll, is a red flag. You can just see here like how hard this paper is. This should not appear like this naturally unless maybe the roll got wet, just to make it look more original and make it look older. That's the only purpose of that. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm going to get these back in this tube here and probably auction them for sale on eBay or something and remove the key dates and see where they go. Of course, we will not sell the roll as unsearched. We will not sell the roll as an 1893 Morgan roll. But I hope you enjoyed. Unfortunately, you know, we didn't have the results that I had hoped for. But we have a lot of awesome stuff coming on this channel. It's a brand new channel, brand new video. I get a lot of really cool coins in. I've got a lot of submissions going out tomorrow. These are all going to NGC. So we'll send all these off and maybe do a guess the grade. We get coins back all the time, some high-end coins, some lower coins. I'll do some educational videos as well. I love coins. I hope you do too. Please consider liking the video, sharing with a friend who collects coins as well, commenting your thoughts below if you've ever been ripped off on a roll like this, or if you have any observations or suggestions for me or the channel. Please consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching again, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.